Hello, my loves. Welcome to another video. We are going to be talking books today. I want to talk about my December reading as well as kind of show you guys my plan for January's TBR. I had a hard time choosing what I wanted to read for January, so the books that I have that I'm going to show you are a little bit, they're kind of on the fence. I know for sure there's one that I'm going to read, but the other ones I'm still just kind of feeling it out and seeing if I want to read the horror stuff or if I want to kind of slide into a different genre, but we shall see. So anyways, if this sounds like a video you want to sit in and watch and just tune in and just hang out with me, please keep watching. So before we begin, I do want to kind of share a couple things with you guys in terms of books and whatnot. So I really found myself falling in love with reading all over again. I've always been a reader. Ever since I was a little girl, always went to the library, always checked out books. It was just one of my favorite pastimes, a favorite hobby. But I would kind of fall into these weird little phases of not reading anything, not being inspired. And then I'll be like super into it and I'll read, a lot of different things. Sometimes I'm like on a nonfiction kick where all I'm reading is nonfiction books. And then other times I'm more into the fiction stuff. Lately, I've been really heavily into fiction only. I'm trying to like slide myself back into reading at least one nonfiction per month. That's going to be a New Year goal. But reading has always been a hobby. This year, 2023, I would have to say mid-year, probably like around August, I really started to get into reading aggressively. And if you look back on my past videos, probably back to like late summer, I really started to talk about the books and I started to share what I was reading. And I mentioned how I started doing this thing where I would add up the total pages in the book that I was reading, and then I would divide it by how many days I wanted to spend reading that book. And it was almost like this little challenge for myself to read a certain amount of pages per day to finish the book in a certain amount of days. And I found by doing that, it helped me stay a little bit more focused and on task to actually complete a book. I want to say it was like September where I actually read 5 or 6 books. You'll have to go back on my videos so you guys can see what I'm talking about. But there was one month that I read 6 books, and that was probably the most I've ever read, that at least I can remember that I've read in a long time. And I think that it just made it so much more fun for me. Yeah, so everything that I show you guys, I read physical books. So there's a lot of people that do audiobooks and whatnot, and I'm actually going to try to get myself into the audio thing, like getting into listening to an audiobook. I just haven't felt like I wanted to. Like, it's something I would like to try, but it hasn't been something like I feel like I need to, because I still love to open a physical book. But that is also another goal for 2024, is to start getting into the audiobooks, because I know I could probably double the amount of books that I read per month if I started listening to some of them audibly. That said, the love for books has just been this amazing side passion aside from my spiritual business and like doing readings for my clients and whatnot. This has turned into kind of like a little hobby on the side that I can do where it helps me to escape. It helps me to relax. It just fuels my mind, and it really has been a positive outlet for me to kind of get my mind away from things that, will start to kind of like spiral me. Or I've noticed my anxiety has been a lot less since I've started doing the reading and like just devoting more of my spare time to doing something that's actually, good for me. I just had to mention that because it's just been such a good thing. So I want to keep up with this because obviously I'm still reading. I'm always reading, but I want to keep up with this going into the new year. I don't know if I might have created a playlist for this stuff, but I will double check. And if I do, I will create a playlist if I don't have one for just my book stuff. So check it out, see, look at those past videos because this channel is kind of a mishmash. That is like another thing that I just started doing a few months back is this channel is not just for spiritual content. It's not just tarot stuff. This channel is also going to be my everyday life content, my hobbies content, my books and stuff. So if you're here for the books, welcome. If you are here for everything else, but you also like to listen to the books, welcome, you guys. I'm glad you're back. So Christmas, we just had Christmas not too long ago. And for Christmas, my hubby gifted me a cute, sweet little gift. He knows me very well. He knows that I love to read. He's always teasing me, calling me a nerd. And my husband gifted me a book embosser. I think that's what it's called. A book embosser. It literally took me the longest to figure out that you pull this out. So crazy. So what this thing is inside this little gold circular piece is an engraving. It pushes pressure on the book page and it doesn't hole punch it, but it leaves like an imprint or an embossing of my name. And it says, this is my Dracula book and it's right here in the corner. I don't know if it's going to show up on the camera. Oh yeah, it does right there. It says from the Library of Rachel. So it has a cute little open book with like flowers coming out of it. And it's the sweetest thing. So it embosses the page of the book. So it was definitely a really sweet gift. I felt like it was perfect. I have not embossed my books just yet, just Dracula. I knew I wanted to do Dracula for sure because this is a book that's going to stay on my bookcase forever. I am planning on embossing my books that I know that are going to stay with me for life. I do not keep every single book that I read. Well, I donate them. I donate my books because they're still in pretty good condition. They're practically new when I'm done reading them. And so I donate them to the local libraries, or sometimes I will donate them to thrift shops. The books that I do keep, I plan on going through and embossing them with my little tag. That was just such a sweet little gift, and I was so surprised, and it was just such a kind little gesture. So he found this one. I think it was honestly, I think it was an Instagram ad that popped up on his feed, and that's how he found it. But I'm sure if you do a Google search, you could find multiple companies that do this. It's just a really cute little gift for somebody who loves to read. So I thought I would share that with you guys. One more update. Okay, if you guys are on Book Reads, I think it's called Book Reads. Yeah, I'm on Book Reads. So if you have a Book Reads, I will put my information in the description box if you want to follow me over there. Book Reads is an app that you can download where you can go to their website and you pretty much create a profile for free and you get to track your books. I just use it mainly for my own personal purpose to track what I'm reading and whatnot. And it's just a really fun app to use. So if you are on Book Reads or if you want to be friends on Book Reads, let me know. My information is in the description box. Go check me out. But a cool thing that it does is you get to see your whole year. So there's a part on the app where you can select your year of your books, and it tells you all this beautiful information of like the genres that you read and your most popular book and blah, 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 blah. So mine came up, I checked it out yesterday, and my stats are in 2023, I read a total of 37 books and a total of 10,986 pages. That is insane. On this portion of the app, you can also go back to the previous years to see, how you did last year and the year before that. So I went back to 2022, and 2022, I believe I only read 24 books or 20 something books, and it was a total of like 5,000 pages. So I literally doubled my reading this year by how many pages I read. Well, I could totally see my progress with my reading from this year to last year. So it's really cool to see the progress. It's just really nice to see that. So I just thought I would share that with you guys. So let's talk 2023 December. I had a DNF. I actually had 2 DNFs, but I'm only going to mention one. I knew that December was going to be a very busy month for me because of Christmas parties, the fact that Christmas is there. It's just December is just a really busy month. So I'm not going to be hard on myself for the fact that I had 2 DNFs and I did not read as much as I would have liked, but it is what it is. So in December, I did finish a book that I started in November. So I don't know if I mentioned this one in my November video, but I started on the 30th of November, I started the book Carmilla. So Carmilla is a vampire story, and I ended up finishing it on the 2nd of December, and I gave this book a 5-star. It was a quick little book. It was a beautiful story about a female vampire, and Carmilla was actually written before Bram Stoker's Dracula. So that one really caught my eye, and the wording, like the way that it was written, obviously it's in the 1800s. So the writing style is a little bit different from what we're used to. I don't read a lot of classics and that kind of stuff. So it did take me a little bit. There were times where I had to kind of reread the sentences because it was a little bit harder for me to understand some of the words, and I really enjoyed it. So I'm not going to give any spoilers for any of these books also, by the way. I should have said that at the beginning. But it was a really good read, 5 stars, love it. And I'm definitely keeping the book because it's absolutely gorgeous, the cover and everything. Okay, so then after that, I picked up the book, I'm Thinking of Ending Things. I started this one on the 3rd of December and I finished it on the 10th. This was a 4-star read. This book I found it in the thriller / mystery section. It was different. Without giving anything away, it was different. Let's just say, like, as I'm reading it, I had an understanding of what was happening, but at the end of the book, I had to, I literally went to the Facebook group. I am in a thriller Facebook group, private group or whatever, and they talk about books. So I went to that particular post to read the comments, and I was pretty much getting a better understanding of what this book was about, because if you've read it, then you probably know. It's like you understand it and then you don't, and then you kind of, it's weird, it's different, it's literally a mind fuck. Okay. So I did go to the private group to read the spoilers, and it gave me a better understanding of what I thought was happening in the book. And yeah, so I would definitely recommend if you're reading this to have an open mind. But if you don't understand what the hell you just read after you finished it, it's totally normal. I, myself included, we were all on that same page. So do yourself a favor and read a spoiler. After that, I picked up The Christmas Guest. I started this one on the 10th of December and I finished it on the 12th of December. Only I didn't finish it. This was my DNF. I was disappointed, you guys. After reading the I'm Thinking of Ending Things book, I think my mind just needed a break. After I read something like that, I was kind of like, I really wasn't in the mood for another mystery. And The Christmas Guest is a mystery book. It was kind of slow for me, and I don't know if it's because my mind just wasn't focused, and at the time, this was like when my December started to get really busy. but I just didn't enjoy it at all. I ended up writing it 1 star when I DNF'd it because I knew I was not going to pick it up again. And afterwards, I decided, you know what? I want to read something that I know I'm going to like. So I did pick up A Strange Hymn, which is book number 2 of the Bargainer series. This is the series that I started in November, and it's the one where I thought it was a vampire, but it's actually a dark fairy. So it's kind of like a fantasy erotica, I guess we could say. It's really, really good. So I picked up the second book and I knew I was going to like it. I started it on the 12th of December and I finished it. I finished it on the 25th. This is how you know my December got really crazy. Like I said, I had a lot of plans. I had a lot of things going on. I had readings I was still doing. So it literally took me like 2 weeks to finish this book, but I did give it 4 stars when I finished it. So I did enjoy it. I actually ended up buying book 3 and book 4 because I want to finish the series. So I'm excited that I actually found a series that I love, and yeah, really good. After that, I picked up the book, The Salt Grows Heavy. I started it on the 30th. So even though I finished A Strange Hymn on the 25th, I needed a little bit of a break between Christmas and like when I was going to start another book. I attempted to read, I can't even remember the name of it. It was a thriller book. It was one that I got from my book of the month. And I just couldn't get into it, but I knew it was probably because it's the holiday season and my mind is just not focused. So I'm not giving up on that book because I actually really liked the first chapter, but I was like, no, I'm not feeling this. So it took me a couple days. And then on the 30th of December, I decided to pick up The Salt Grows Heavy. This one, I think this was on my TBR for November, but I didn't get to it. Something like that. But this is a horror, kind of like a horror. It's like a horror book, but it's also fantasy and mermaids and like, it's just different. It's a literary horror, I guess is what you could call it. Really, really good, but also low key. Like sometimes I don't know what's happening because the words that this author uses are just beyond my comprehension. I've read a lot of books and I've learned I've expanded my vocabulary, but sometimes there's some books that I just read and I just feel dumb because I don't know the words. So it really helps me to expand my vocabulary reading stuff like this, but it also kind of sets me back because sometimes I just don't know what the hell's going on. So this is one of those that I'm probably going to have to read a second time later on. But I really like it. It's really, really short. I'm halfway through. I'm probably going to aim to finish this one tonight. We shall see. I literally only have like 50 pages left. So I will probably finish it tonight. But yeah, this one definitely, I am enjoying it, but it's a little tough at times. There's just some words that I'm just like, I've never heard that word before. So, but that's a good thing. That's how you expand your vocabulary. And those are my books that I read for December. So I read a total of 3 books completed, 4 if I finish this one tonight. So really, really good. Not bad. I was aiming for like 5 or 6, but hey, I will take 3.5 over nothing. So so not bad at all. Let's talk January TBR. Like I said, you guys, my January pile is very iffy because I feel like I don't know how I feel yet about what kind of books I want to read. I'm going to try to be nice to myself. If I don't finish a book, if I don't like one of the books I picked, if I end up buying a new book and I end up reading that one instead, it's pretty much like when I show you guys my TBRs like this, they're not set in stone because interests change, or I'm a mood reader. So sometimes I'm in the mood for horror, sometimes I'm in the mood for romance. So let's get into it. Okay. First off, I am starting a nonfiction book because, like I said, I want to at least read one nonfiction a month. I'm going to start with The Modern Witchcraft Guide or Book of Tarot. This book, I picked it up months ago, and it is all about tarot cards. It's all about the interpretations of the cards, going into the symbols and whatnot. And it's just one of those books that I wanted to have in my collection. One, because it's really pretty. You have this beautiful, just deep yellow book, and I love the design on the front, and it just looks really nice on the bookshelf. But also, I really want to get deep into tarot cards again. That's where I started. So my spiritual journey started in tarot. It's kind of grown into other things, but I really want to get back to the root this coming year. I don't care if I finish it or not. It's really not a big deal because I already know tarot cards. Like, I've read multiple tarot books, but this is something that's going to probably help me jumpstart and get into doing the tarot stuff again. I don't know. We'll see. So this is one of the books that I'm kind of like, I don't know if I want to do horror right now. We'll see. But this one is called It Haunts the Mind and Other Stories by Nick Roberts. Nick Roberts wrote the book, The Exorcist's House, and I read that one, I think, in October. And it was one of the 5-star reads that gave me the creeps. So if you're looking for a creepy exorcist type of a book, read Nick Roberts's The Exorcist's House. It was really good. At least in my opinion, it was good. This is a short story of his, and I picked this one up because I really enjoy his writing style, and I thought it was just really interesting. He also signed it for me, so that was kind of cool. It's a book of short stories, and it's short horror stories, so we'll see if I finish it. We'll see how I feel about it. I don't know. But that's one of the books on the TBR. Next one is The Quiet Tenant by Clemens McCallion. It has a really interesting synopsis that kind of grabbed my attention. It's a thriller, and it sounds really, really good. A pulse-pounding psychological thriller about a serial killer narrated by those closest to him, his 13-year-old daughter, his girlfriend, and the victim he has spared. So it sounds really good. It's pretty much this guy is a serial killer and he keeps someone hostage in the house and the family doesn't know about it. So he has like a double life, and this person is like, he's keeping someone hostage. I think it's kind of like in a second, like a guest house or whatever. Really interesting. It just sounded pretty cool. I wanted to see what this was all about. So definitely going to dive into this one. I also have book 3 of the Bargainer series. So this one is called The Emperor of Evening Stars. The author is Laura Talasa. And yeah, book 3 of the Bargainer series. So like I said, you guys, I have been enjoying this series, and because I'm loving it, I'm going to finish it. I have not finished a series since Twilight. So this is kind of exciting. I also love that it's a short book. Literally. Like, this one is, how many pages are you? 47 pages. So I love that it is a shorter book because book 2 was pretty thick. Book 1 was, it was okay. Book 2 was thick. This one is thinner. I'll definitely get into it and I'll finish it for sure. So I know that one is a must. And last but not least on my pile is The Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires by Grady Hendrix. I have not read this book. I always hear people talking about it, saying it's really, really good. It is a vampire story. It is, Grady Hendrix kind of has like a comedic horror writing style. So it is horror, but it has like a funny twist to it usually. And I dig that. So we'll see. I really, really enjoyed the, oh my gosh, I won't even be able to remember the name of it. But it's the one where the girl is and I think it was another vampire one. Or was it an end girl? I don't know. Don't listen to me. I will pop the book picture here because I can't even think. I could see the cover of it, but I can't think of the name. So I'll put it right here. But anyways, Grady Hendrix writes pretty good books. So I'm definitely looking forward to diving into this one. It's been on my bookshelf for months. So I think it's about time that I start to get into it. I have been craving a vampire book. Ever since I read Carmilla, I've just been really craving a vampire book. I don't want a Twilight vampire book. I want like a 30 Days of Night vampire book. Is that even vampire? No, that's zombies. I don't know. But you know what I mean? Like, I want horror vampire. So can you guys give me some book recommendations? Anybody who's watching. I should probably just do myself a favor and read Dracula because I've never read Dracula. I have 2 copies of Dracula books and I have never read Dracula. So I should probably just take the time to read it because I'm probably going to really love it. But it does low-key scare me because of the writing style. And I've watched some YouTube reviews on reading Dracula, and I just know that there's parts that are just so boring and like it just goes on. And I know that if I get to something like that, I just won't. It'll probably take me a whole month to finish a Dracula book. I won't. I'm not even kidding you, because I have to take time to understand what I'm reading. And like this one where I'm like Googling the definition of certain words. But we'll see. Maybe one of these days I'll pick it up. Maybe this October I will read Dracula. I should probably set that as a goal. I don't know. So anyways, gonna read this one, see how it is. I hope I like it. I hope it's good. But yeah, I'm just looking for a really scary vampire book. All right, you guys. That is pretty much my video for you guys. I hope that you guys enjoyed. Thank you so much for tuning in and being here with me. Technically, when this video comes out, it's going to be the 1st of January. So happy New Year to you guys. It's been a good year. 2023 was a pretty decent year. I would have to say, but I'm excited to see what the new year brings. And I'm excited to see what new books I read, what new discoveries I make. And yeah. So thank you guys for being here with me. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I will see you in my next video very, very soon. Take care. Happy New Year, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye, guys.